Forging
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about Forging Hephaestus by Drew Hayes. Forging Hephaestus is the story of Tori Rivas, a genius-level intellect with mechanical and inventing abilities that are on level with Tony Stark. So one day during an experiment, Tori is exposed to chemicals and something explodes in her lab. And as a result, she gets superpowers. She has the ability to turn into living fire and become pseudo-intangible, which gives her immunity to heat and all this other kind of stuff. And she doesn't like the pretty much laws in general. So she starts to steal in order to fund her experiments and her building of her tech. Because despite having awesome powers, Tori wants to build an amazing meta suit, which is basically just an Iron Man suit. So one day, while breaking into this huge company, one of the largest tech companies in the country, she gets caught during the infiltration. The people that was with her end up betraying her and stuff. She gets caught. And she finds out that the people who own the company is this guild of villains. It's literally a giant group of villains like the Legion of Doom or the Injustice League or something, except on a larger scale. And they basically give her the choice to either join them and learn their ways and learn the villain's code, or die, because she disrespected them and that's the consequences. But they're giving her the option to join them because she's so smart and all this kind of stuff. So she basically makes the obvious choice and says, all right, she'll join. So they start her out immediately trying to just do regular training. So she trains with some of the other members of the guild or whatever, and she's not paying attention to them when they try to tell her stuff about using her powers strategically or try to give her advice on tactics and whatnot. She's just used to just throwing fireballs and stuff, and she doesn't really care. And, she just kind of run into it like headstrong and all this stuff. So they feel like they can't teach her. They're like, well, we got to cut our losses, basically. And when they say cut their losses, they mean cut their losses. And they're going to get rid of her. So they decide, they really don't want to get rid of her because she's super intelligent. She's she's on a higher level of intelligence than their super evil Iron Man, basically. They have a hyper, mechanical genius in their name, Dr. Mechanical, who is he can look at her, see her work and stuff and say, well, she's well beyond where he was at that time. And his ability might even be, his mechanical genius. So, but she doesn't, that's not her ability at all. She's just super, super smart. So they don't want to waste her. So they give her the option to become an apprentice under a specific member of the guild who's retired. He doesn't even do villain work or anything anymore. But when he did do villain work, he was one of the world's most famous, most infamous, most feared, terrified villains named Fornax, who was insanely powerful. He's literally, as far as record shows, only really second to Lodestar, the strongest person ever recorded on their planet. And, so she basically has to become his apprentice, and he puts her through a test where the test literally almost kills her. He if you can survive one punch from me, then you can be my apprentice. And she shifts into fire form where she's functionally intangible, and it still almost kills her because he's insanely powerful for a number of reasons. And because this guy is so infamous and so well known and all this stuff, taking on an apprentice becomes fashionable again. So everybody else wants an apprentice because this guy's got an apprentice. And so when the next event that happens that causes a bunch of people to get superpowers, called a confluence, when the next time that happens and they get to recruit more people, those people are taken in as apprentices too. They recruit 3 people, 2 guys and 1 girl, and they all become apprentices to people. One has the power to shift into dragons. The other has that was the girl. She has the power to shift into dragons. One of the guys, he has he's like an Elantrian. He can write runes and stuff and like make magic effects happen. And then the other guy, he can just literally summon swarms of insects of any kind. And it's kind of gross, but it's kind of cool. He uses it really well. And Drew continues to show his mastery of using these kinds of powers. Like, he has a great handle on how to write like different powers and stuff. Because something as simple as just conjuring like swarms of bugs, he uses it in a really cool dynamic way that makes it feel way more useful than you would immediately think of. So similar to other stuff that Drew has done, he centers a lot of the story around the training that the character goes through. So Tori and the other apprentices, they all have to, go through different stages of training while learning the code, because they have this code book that's like the law. Like, if you don't follow the code, you die. Literally, that's it. And so like it structures through that while there's this other story going on that's brewing. There's rivalry and stuff within the guild. There's members that don't like other members, and they're planning stuff and whatnot. So it's just similar to how he did Superpowers, where there's this A story going on, but the B story is brewing up to become the A story. So it's really well done. And the characters are so well created. They're so well realized and so fleshed out. Like, it hasn't even occurred to me, because I read the story like a while ago, like years ago. And it just occurs to me recently how well done the female characters in this book is. It's like, it's done so well, and it's not like a pushy way. It's not like trying to, get your attention to say, like, look how well done my characters are, or anything like that. Like, even like speaking of like the Bechdel test, or whatever, the Bechdel test, however you pronounce it. Like, this book literally passes it in every conversation. Like, the majority of the character, well, I think so. I don't pay much attention to it, but I think a good chunk of the characters are female characters, and they're all very different from each other, and they're all very dynamic, and they're very, like, some of them are fun, evil, and some are just like insanely powerful, and some are like, joyful and kind of playful and all this other stuff. And apart from, like, because typically in stories like this, I find that if the main character is a female, that character will be fleshed out and like kind of well realized and stuff. But all the other characters will just kind of fade back or be archetypes or, stuff like that. They're not, well done. But Drew painted each character 3D. Like, all of them are so well realized. And he does it in such a way where, like, the guys don't pay a penalty as a result. It's like all the guys in the story are well done. They're fleshed out. They're not, made to be betas in order for the women to be more alpha-like or anything like that. And their stories are just as cool and, like, varied and stuff. One of my favorite characters in the entire book is a male character. And he has barely anything to do with the story yet. I think he's going to come into play later. But he barely has anything to do with what's going on. His name is Nexus. He is a multiversal viewer. That's kind of how I'm seeing him. He can go universe to universe. He just hops into the multiverse and just like watches. He just observes what's going on, trying to see anomalies. He tries to see like what's different in this universe from another one and whatnot. And I think that's awesome, because if I had those powers, I would basically do the same thing. But he's kind of a villain. Sometimes he's villain, sometimes he's not. Like, he wiped Detroit off the face of the earth or something like that. Or Denver, I can't remember which. And he, like, unleashes monsters from other universes into, like, this universe and stuff. And, like, just, he plays around with stuff. He's just, he's very much looking at the game board from a very much higher perspective than everybody else. And I think it's so much fun. I can't wait to see what happens next. Because, luckily, this is, like, I said, I read this book years ago, and I've been waiting. I've been dealing with this long wait, waiting for the sequel. Because when I finished it, I was like, where's the next one? Because I need to know what happens. Because the way it ends, it tees up all this awesome stuff. And I'm like, I need to know what happens. So I've been waiting. And luckily, 2020 doesn't suck too much, because for Christmas, we get the second book, which is called Bones of the Past. And I don't know what that means. I don't have any theories or anything like that, but I'm excited for it. It comes out on the 23rd, and I will be reading it and reviewing it for the channel. That review will be coming in the new year, more than likely. And I am super excited about it. Forging Hephaestus is a great story. It's a great start to a series that I hope will be just as good as this first book, if not better, because like what he did with superpowers, it started good, then it got better and better and better, so I really hope he can continue that trend. I can't recommend this book enough to everyone. Like, please, like, give it a shot. It's a really good one, and with the sequel coming out, you'll be able to jump right into it. You'll have to wait as long as I did, but assuming there will be more in the series, we'll probably have to start yet another long wait, but, you know, that's what happens when you like book series. You gotta wait. There's always waits. Not everybody is like Brandon and can just sneeze out books every couple of years. He's just amazing like that. Well, so remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I will talk to you